So we started simplifying radicals with just numbers, and now we're going to talk about simplifying radicals when there's variables. So square roots, exponents must be in multiples of 2, cube roots must be in multiples of 3, fourth roots must be in multiples of 4. Okay, sorry, I had to pause for a second. Okay, so we are going to simplify radicals with variables. So the whole number we're going to do the same way. We're going to birthday cake it. So with 32, I could bring out a 2, which would be 16. Bring out a 2. And so we end up, we're looking at, since we have an index of 2, we're looking for groups of 2. So we have a group of 2, a group of 2, and then one left over. So this means that we would actually bring out a 2 and a 2, so we have a 4 out front. And we have a 2 left underneath the radical. So that's where we would be finished, except for it has these variables. Now I want to chat about what this really means. This really means x times x times x times x. Okay, so if we're looking with an index of 2, we're looking for groups of 2. And so this would be an x and this would be an x, and we could bring it out. But instead of writing x times x, we could write x squared. And so with the y, there would be 9 of them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'd be looking for groups of 2. And so that would be 4 y's. So y times y times y times y would be y to the 4th. And this lonely guy has to stay under the radical. So our final simplified answer would be this. Now I'm going to show you a couple ways to make that a little bit faster. So one way, I'm going to show you about the variables. Since the index is 2, we could take the exponent and divide it by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and so that's how I could quickly get that x to the power of 2 comes out. Then we get to 9. 9 divided by 2 is 4 with a remainder of 1, and so that remainder of 1 is what stays underneath. So now I'm going to show you how to simplify this 32 without having to do all of the birthday caking. I might do it on the next one, so let's just wait. Okay, so on this next one, it is the cube root, or an index of 3, 216 m to the 3rd n squared. So we're going to start with this number, and I know you're like, I know there's a way in the calculator we can do this. Well, it's true and not true. In our calculator, if we cube root 216, it gives us this whole number. And so in this case, we don't have to do any birthday caking or any of that, so we could just get our whole number of 6 gets to come out. But now we get to talk about our variables. Because the index is 3, we're going to divide the exponent by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, so m to the first power gets to come out. But I don't have to write that 1 as the exponent if I don't want to. For the n, I would do 6 divided by 3 is 2, so n to the second power gets to come out. So there's actually nothing left under the radical in this one. Now let's go for 13. So negative 64. So negative 64 cube rooted, I could do math, cube root 64, and it gives me the whole number 4. Oh, it's negative 64, my bad. So math, cube root, negative 64, that makes a difference. So it'd be negative 4. So we know that the whole number, negative 4, gets to come out. Now I'm going to take 10 and divide it by 3. So if I have 10 divided by 3, that would be 3, and we would have a remainder of 1. So I know that x to the 3rd power gets to come out, and I'm going to have x to the 1st power still underneath. Then I have 21, so 21 divided by 3 is 7, so I have y to the 7th with no remainder. So this would be our final answer. Now on 15, we just have variables. So we're going to look at our index. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we know w to the first power gets to come out. 17 divided by 4. So if you have 17 divided by 4, that would be 4. And that would give you 16, which 1 is a remainder. So we would do v to the 4 with a remainder of 1v underneath. So that would be our final answer. So my little index number and my exponent look too similar, so I'm sorry for that. Next we have the 625, and it has an index of 4. So in our calculator, we go to math, and we go to number 5. Our index is 4, and our radicand is 625. So that gives us 5. So we know that the whole number 5 comes out. 23 divided by 4. So if we have 23 divided by 4, we would get 5 because that's 20. So we would have c to the 5th gets to come out, and we would have 3 left over. So c to the 3 stays underneath. 11 divided by 4. So if you have 11 divided by 4, you would have 2, so that's 8. So we know d to the 2. And then that would have a remainder of 3, so you'd have d3 still underneath. Okay, so I did all those examples, and I didn't get to really teach you the calculator trick I was going to teach you. So I'm going to go back up to number 9 to 32. So since this is square rooting 32, here's the calculator steps. You're going to go to y equals. So let's just do it at the same time. So I'm going to write down the steps and go to y equals. So y equals, and we're going to type in 32 divided by, since the index is a 2, we're going to divide by x squared. Okay, so since the index is a 2, we do x squared. Then we're going to, so I'm going to do 32 divided by x squared because of the index. Then we're going to go to the table. So to go to the table, we click second and the graph button, and we are going to go to the farthest down whole numbers like that. So the rest, okay, so this tells us that our simplified form would be 4 and the 2 stays underneath. So the x tells you what comes out, and the y tells you what's going to be left under the radical. So we'll practice that a little bit more in future lessons, but I wanted to show you there is kind of a little way you could cheat that in the calculator and get your simplified radical. Okay, that's it for today.